Hi, Ansley. It's Stephanie and Adrienne from the How to Be a Redhead podcast. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to meet you guys on recording. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been so long that we've been wanting to talk to you. So this is such an awesome way to meet you.
That is funny. I
Yes.
remember I was in high school. I'm sure this was going to come up later, but when I was in high school, I was looking up like redhead specific makeup products like a long time ago. And I remember finding your site and being like, I'm going to have to try these. Like they have a book on how to be a redhead. Like I very obviously like I need to learn a thing or two. And now here we are.
That's
I
awesome.
know. That's so
Yeah, and a
cool.
question we always like to ask our redheaded guests. What was it like for you personally growing up with red hair?
Oh, it was so interesting. I didn't realize that like being a redhead was a unique like thing that people almost like covet. And I described my hair as blonde growing up because it was strawberry blonde. And then the older I got, the more red it got. And then I became aware of things such as kick a ginger day or the fact that we don't have
Mm-hmm.
eyebrows or like the soulless jokes. It was like I became very aware of it the older I got. And I was like, is this a thing? Like, should I? Like, how do I respond to all of this commentary on my hair and like how it allegedly impacts my personality? Because I always get the angry redhead, the mean redhead. I'm like, whoa!
The feisty,
I'm
yeah, the
like,
fiery, yeah.
I'm just loud. I don't know if it has anything to do with my hair, but I will. All right, so here we are. But it was interesting. I'm happy to be a redhead now. At the time, I was a little more skeptical.
Yeah, I know. It's
Yeah.
a journey for everyone's story as a redhead is different, but what we hear more and more is that it turns into a love relationship, but in the beginning it could be a love hate and finding, your identity and your love for your red hair. I think for me personally, it was a journey. So,
Hmm.
but
Yeah, it
yeah.
took a long time, and then I started to read more books, and the more redhead protagonists I saw, the more I
Mm.
was like,
Yeah.
okay, so this isn't like some weird taboo thing. Like we can power through. And so now we're here, and I love my red hair, and I do anything I can to enhance it, and honestly, it has helped my career quite a bit. So I'm grateful for it.
Has it? In what ways?
So, like, my mom will just say, like, "Oh, well, you're so lucky I gave you red hair," because it comes from her side of the family. Um,
Mhm.
but it was like the first time I realized it was a benefit. I was going into this hair modeling show in Reno, and I was probably like 16 at the time. And she went down this long line of girls with like modeling portfolios and like hair and like all black. And I'd showed up late and being like, I don't even know what I'm doing here. And I was standing in that line, like borderline having a panic attack. And this lady, her name was Terry, she walks by all the girls and she's like, okay, okay. And she gets to me. She goes, step forward, do a spin. Okay, you can stay to the next round. And I was like, why is that? And she's like, we love the red. We just love the red. And I was the only natural redhead in the entire line. So I was like, oh, huge win for me. And
Wow.
then,
That's
yes,
awesome.
then it like it has the same effects. Like it either helps or it hurts me. But either way, it like
Mm.
definitely makes me stand out. So I'm very grateful for it.
Yeah, do you see a lot of
Yeah.
redheads when you're auditioning and
Yeah,
in
it's funny.
it?
Yeah, because it's like when I moved to LA, I remembered finding a few people you've actually worked with are some of my good friends in LA.
Oh,
Because I feel like all
really?
the redheads, yeah, like
Yeah.
That's so
Lily,
cool.
I don't know if you know Lily Cardone, but we are friends,
Yeah.
and yeah, we all kind of know each other, and a lot of us are in the same acting classes. And it's funny because we're all different versions of redheads that get very different roles. But when people see a redhead, they're like, I only need one. And we're like, wait a second, we have multitudes to
There's
offer.
multiple of us.
There's
Wait a
so many
second. I
shades.
said, I'm funny. You guys, you got to give me a chance here, please. So yeah, but we all kind of know each other, like of a redhead, or yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you get into acting? Like
Mhm.
like take us back. So how did you decide I need to do this?
Yeah. Well, my mom will tell you that I popped out of the womb like performing. That's just what I've always been meant to do. I used to walk into a room and yell, I did it. And I'd wait till everyone clapped and then I would go about my day. But the first time I was a freshman in high school, and my friend at the time said that she was auditioning for like a theater show. And I was like, I think I should give that a go. And I remember the first time I stepped into that theater and I did that show. And the next time I went into that same theater, I walked in and I could see the dust flying in the lights and it smelled the same. And I was just so excited to get on stage. And I was like, wait a second. Like, there's some people that are called to do this, and I'm gonna say that I'm one of them. And so I went the rest of my high school never not being in a show, always doing a web series, always finding something to do. And then when I graduated high school, I said, all right, I will see you guys later. And I moved to LA, and
Wow.
I've been going strong-ish, like on and off since 2017. So
Good for
yeah.
you.
Wow.
Oh my.
That's so great.
Yeah.
That's so great. We always say, like, Stephanie and I were out in LA last year when we filmed for Shark Tank, and we were like, we give actors
Mhm.
so much credit. I mean, it is, you have to really believe in yourself, which we love. You have to have so much confidence. And you are, I feel like you have to give yourself that motivation every day to just keep going.
Oh yeah.
And right, Steph? We were having like long conversations. Like, we admire you guys.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I didn't realize it was crazy or delusional until my family was like, "So what's your backup plan?" And I go, "What is that? When would I get
That's
that?"
so that's such a good
Exactly.
mentality to
No
have
backup
though,
plan.
Yeah.
because no backup plan. This is it.
Yeah.
No safety net.
No, none. I have like a survival job and I have different streams of income. But like at the end of the day, I'm a storyteller by nature, and it would be a disservice to myself and the rest of the people if I decided to sit behind a desk instead. So
Yeah.
this is what I meant to
Yeah.
do. It's what I'm going to keep on doing, and hopefully it'll work out. So
Yeah, it definitely
Yeah.
will.
No, you've
So
got to keep that focus on.
yeah,
yeah, so let's talk about you started in Out Past Dark
yeah.
and you talk to us about your character and your experience working on that film.
Well, that was a special one because my friend Eddie, actually also from Reno, he made his way down to LA. And when I had just graduated college, I'm like fresh out of undergrad. He said, like, "Hey, I have this movie that's going to be shooting in New Mexico. Like, it's unpaid, but would you want to do it?" And I
Mm,
was just like, "Yes, like any work that I can do, any experience that I can have is going to be better than
mhm,
none." So I graduated college and then went to New Mexico, and it was one of those reaffirming moments where I was like, okay, if I can do 12-hour days on set, if I can learn lines in the moment, if I can constantly take notes and take adjustments and work on making the character more fully fleshed out, then like this is what I want to do. And Petunia Evans, she was my character. She's creepy, um, knows a little too much, and that's just
mhm.
fun for me. Like I think I'm gonna be in horror movies. I think I'm gonna be a villain at some point. Like I love the dark, kind of scary, crazy characters because they're so fun to play with.
Yeah, and
Wow.
that's yeah, being a character that's so different obviously than who you are in real life. That's
Yeah.
the beauty of acting, is that you can transform into this awesome character that is just so different.
Yeah,
Um
it's fun. There's a lot of
yeah,
freedom in it.
yeah, so and then so you have acting and then your TikTok page.
Yes.
How did you decide to start that?
Also in college, I can't even
Okay.
remember how. I just wanted to be entertained. And then I heard Britney Spears in my head and she said, "You either entertain or you are the entertainer." And I said,
Mhm.
"I think I'm going to be the entertainer." And so I started posting videos on my first account and then I deleted it because I was like, this is not an accurate reflection of the person that I am and like the fun that I want to have. So I restarted on Tiny Tabasco, fully planning to keep it anonymous, and then videos kept doing well and I was like, all right, this is just how this is going to go. So recently I've started to get into more character work, which is fun for me. I just set up my phone
Mm.
and I let my impulse thoughts kind of take me on a little journey, and if it works, it works and I post it, and if it doesn't, then we move on and we try again. But it's fun and it's definitely a lot of freedom. Like I can have my freedom, my flexibility. It's good exposure. Obviously, I'm on a podcast with two beautiful ladies from Shark Tank that I looked up to from a while now. So
Oh,
it's like cool.
yeah.
It gives you a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, and how about the name? How did you come up with Tiny Tabasco?
So I don't even like Tabasco. My boyfriend was asking me the other day
I
because
was
he's
gonna
in.
ask, are you love hot sauce? No?
No, no. I worked at this country club and they had these tiny Tabasco bottles that somehow made
Yeah.
its way to the dining room. And I just thought they were so little and like so cute. And so I started collecting them and I would walk around and give them to the people that I deemed worthy. And then when I was making my
You
TikTok
deemed
account,
worthy.
I was like, what's something that like no one's gonna find me on? Like, how could I like what's a funny name? And then I just put Tiny Tabasco and I spelled it wrong. And now it's just my trademark. So
I
it
love
is.
it. I love it. And then we saw that on your TikTok, you turned your closet into a voiceover studio, which is
Yeah.
really cool. So, how did you come up with that
Yeah,
idea?
I got into voiceover almost 2 years ago now. And at first I was filming like under a fort, like pillow blanket in my tiny closet. And so when we moved into this current apartment, the thing that sold me was I opened up this coat closet and I could stand up in it. And I said, I think that's going to be useful later. So I started the process of like looking up all the best ways to make a voiceover booth and what that would look like. And I spent so much money on the right panels and readjusting and a sound blanket. So now it's set up and it's gorgeous and it's beautiful. I haven't had to use it in a while, but yeah, it's definitely a nice feature to the apartment that people walk in and then I show them. They're like, "This is great." I'm like, "I made it."
That's awesome. That's so
Yeah.
cool. And then you can do it right in your apartment rather than, I'm assuming, like going to like a voiceover studio or something.
If you do book, sometimes depending on the work, they'll have you go into a studio. But for like the Spotify, like little ads that I've done, or like I'm trying to get into reading audiobooks because people tell me all the time to do it. So yeah, I can like practice in there and it's nice. It's definitely like peaceful. It's quiet if you need to panic. Nobody can get in. So
Yeah, right. And then on top of all of this, you also play the guitar,
I do.
which you have a beautiful voice. We were looking at some of your videos prior to this interview, and I was like, oh my gosh, you do so much and you have so many talents. How did you start getting into, like, when did you pick up a guitar?
Oh, I was 14 and it was a birthday present from my mother. I was really into boy bands, or excuse me, bands, rock and roll.
Hmm.
5 Seconds of Summer in freshman year of high school, and I needed a guitar, and so my mom got me my first acoustic Fender, and I named it Rio, and I just started teaching myself with like YouTube chords. I think the first song I learned was a Christian song. Um, like yeah, I've just been trying, but my education kind of stops at a certain point because I'm self-taught. But yeah, it's like I love songwriting, I love singing, I love it all. So it's nice.
And I wanted to talk to you about the accents.
Yeah.
Stephanie and I, before we came on, we were like, we love your accents as you're scrolling through your TikTok. So you slip in and out of them regularly. Like we just noticed them. Where did you learn to do that?
The first accent I picked up was like standard British, and that was from watching like YouTubers, a few of them. And so I started to like realize, oh, I can do dialects pretty well. And then
Wow.
thank you. And then there was another YouTuber named Jamie's World, and she was Australian. And so I just watched like a few of her videos, and like my ear just kicked into it, and I could suddenly like recreate the vowels and like the nasal sounds. And then the further I got with it, like I had to do a Shakespeare play, totally Southern, which apparently Shakespeare sounds better in Southern. Like I'm learning that. So I had to do an entire much about nothing like this. And then I just started picking them up as I went, like little charm bracelets. I just have an ear for it, I feel like, so I can usually
Yeah, you do. So how many can you do?
I can do English, Southern. I don't want to say French, but French. A little bit of Irish, sometimes Scottish. My voice is like butter, so I can do a lot with it, but I can't keep it where it needs to be. Russian. I can do Russian and transatlantic. I have a lot of fun with the transatlantic because if I'm not Southern on that page, I'm talking like this, and people say I'm Catherine Hepburn, and I say thank you. I will take it.
Wow.
What about Boston? Because Stephanie and I are from Rhode Island, and
Oh yeah,
Stephanie has
no,
to
I
really work on her accent.
Yeah.
I don't
Steph,
know.
maybe you can help her.
I'm so it's like as long as I know you guys also kind of elongate the vowels. Like you said, I'm
Yeah.
Stephanie, I'm Adrienne. Like that's how you
Yeah.
guys on Shark
Yeah.
Tank. So it's not
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
I could pass, but anyone from those regions would be like, that is not how we talk. I'd be like, I'm sorry.
Wow. Yeah. So can you, when you say you can't keep it for that long, does that mean like for a role, it would be something that you just have to keep
You'd have to really
practicing?
practice.
No, it's more like
Okay.
if I'm thinking about a different accent, I'll slip into it. Like a lot of the times I'll be talking and
Okay.
I was thinking about Irish, and so I switched into it right now. And it's like one of those things that it's just hard to keep in one spot if I'm thinking about something else. So I
Okay.
gotta get better up here. But yeah, I can
I
stay in it for a while. It just
Wow, that is so crazy. It's so cool because Adrienne and I, we've talked about accents before, Adrienne, and we just can't. We're
Yeah.
like, wow, it's so crazy how the brain, like how
Creates
accents.
I don't know how accents, like, even happened.
I
Like,
don't
you
know.
know what I mean?
It's a
I
phenomenal
sometimes I
thing.
wonder if, like, I recently it's so funny. I was just, I was just with my friends who one's from the UK and one's from Rhode Island, like we are, right? So one has a Rhode Island accent, like New England, and one has a UK.
Mhm.
And I realized, I was like, they kind of sound similar, except, the English is a little higher and like more proper. But then they both drop their R's. And like, I'm like, oh, maybe that's where New England accent came from, like from England, but then we just made it a little bit harsher, like
Yeah,
fuck the car,
definitely like it's like the lilt of it. It's the cadence of your
Yeah.
tone. And so I experiment a lot with it. I play around a lot with accents, but they're
Wow.
very fun.
That's really
They're
cool because
so
every time
fun.
I watch a show or a movie where the actor, actress, that they're like Australian, but they're playing like
Yeah.
a certain accent. That
Like Colin
always
Farrell right now, Steph, watching
Oh,
Sugar.
Sugar.
Colin
Yeah,
Farrell
such a good yes.
I mean, you wouldn't know that he had an accent. He
No.
does a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always fascinated by that, like how they can either cover up it or and create this whole new character. I mean, I know it's what you guys do,
Uh-huh.
so it's just yeah, it's something that I couldn't do. So I'm just in awe of it.
It's very fun. And I'm also always flattered when people are like, I don't know what your real speaking voice is. And at a certain point, like, I don't know either anymore. Like, I'm just,
Yeah, you're like, who am I?
I was talking to my boyfriend. I was like, I got to stop casually doing a Southern accent because, like, I don't know what I sound like because I get excited and then I go Southern and I don't know why. So, I have to work on that.
Maybe
That
you were
is
supposed to be
so
Southern, or maybe you were in a past life.
Oh, I hope with all my heart that I end up as a Southern role where I'm like shooting guns and like riding a horse. Like I would lose my mind. So
put it out there. It probably will happen.
that's the
I
space I'm
believe
in.
it.
I'm fully in the thought that I've just like been like dropping breadcrumbs for what the universe should do for me, and eventually it'll start to line up. It's on
Mhm.
its way. So we'll see.
It
Yes.
it it really we're big manifestors, so I really believe that. So in terms of comedy heroes, you
Mm.
are so funny. Do you have any heroes that you look up to, past or present?
I feel like I'm a horrible person whenever this question gets asked. Like, who are actresses you look up to? Because my mind goes so blank.
Blank.
I'm genuinely racking my brain trying to think of like a comedian. Oh, Tim Robinson. I recently watched him. He's super funny. I wouldn't say he's a hero of mine, but again, my mind has disappeared. It's just gone.
Yeah.
I don't really have.
Well, there's so many.
Yeah,
There's so many. I know. I know. Do you love Lucille Ball, or is she like
I've never I've seen a
old
little bit
school?
of like I Love Lucy, but I think it's a bit before my
Mm,
time. It's hard to find, I think, a recording of it today.
yeah.
But I do love that she's one of the earliest iconic redheads, and she was in black and white. You can just tell.
I know. I
Yeah.
know. I know. That's so true.
Hmm.
That's so
Mhm.
true.
And so have you ever dyed your hair, and would you for a role?
Oh yeah, I've dyed my hair a lot of times.
You have? Okay. What
Yeah,
colors?
I did like a dark brown. I did blonde highlights. I worked at a summer camp, and every summer I would dye my hair like purple, green, or blue. I've done like a dark magenta red just to like play with it in October.
Mhm.
And recently I booked this commercial, and they asked like when they were hiring me, like if I'd be willing to dye my hair. And like I love my red hair, but I'm also not super attached to it. So I understand like it'll grow back. Like this is just what I have.
Mhm.
So if I had to dye it blonde, like I'm down to try it out for a few days, like just to see. But thankfully
Mhm.
there's like glosses and there's people who understand red hair now. So I can like if I needed to, I could get it back. So I'm not super attached to it. I would dye it for a role. But yeah, I love my natural ginge. So
Yeah. And there are wigs. Wigs have come really far on
yeah,
set, we
they have.
hear.
They have. I just feel like I don't know with my skin tone, like I feel like anything else on me looks insincere. Like I think Steph,
Mm.
you that dyed your hair blonde when you were growing up.
Yes, I
Yeah,
did for years.
yeah, it like makes me look way more pink and like it just
Yeah.
does it's not
It
flattering at
Yeah, it
all.
washed me out. I don't know what I was thinking. I look back at photos, I'm like, "Oh, that just
Yeah.
doesn't look
Yeah.
good." Sorry. That doesn't look good in any way, shape, or form. I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah, and I would get so upset at the hairstylist or, like, the colorist who would do my hair back then because I wanted the blonde to just go right to my root, and red's so hard to pick up, even with bleach, and they try to get it close to the root, but then like a week or two later it would grow and then you'd see all this red and I'd be so upset because I saved up all this money. I had no money, I was so
Yeah.
young. I don't know what. Yeah. The it was a mess.
Yeah,
But it
it's
just,
definitely like we have our shade, like we come pre-programmed with our best shade, and we should be
yeah,
really lucky about that. So,
yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah.
Redheads, have you heard?
We aired on ABC's Shark Tank, episode 14, season 15. We are busy developing products and continuing to grow this incredible redhead lifestyle brand.
Check out our mascara and eyebrow products in red hot shades, hair care, merch, lifestyle items, and so much more. Redheads, we can now rejoice.
Finally, there are products for us.
Use code podcast to get 15% off your next purchase. Shop at shop.howtobearedhead.com.
And then what are some of your go-to makeup products? Like what's your beauty routine look like?
oh, I wish I kept my makeup bag out here. I got ready this morning right here, and right now it's the mascara that I was just sent by you guys, either
Oh,
the
yay.
set or the Auburn. I love the wand. It coats my lashes like my
Oh,
lashes
the new
are really
wand.
The
long.
Yeah.
enhancing?
The enhancing.
I love the new wand. I love it so much. And the brown with the splash of red, I layer that on sometimes. It looks really good. I'm going for like super goop SPF. Like I like really natural glowy
Yeah.
finishes. A lot of blush,
Same.
which I'm lacking on right now.
I
And
love blush too. I never did until
me either.
honestly until recently. I have a girlfriend. Yeah, I have a girlfriend who like loves blush, and I feel like she always was like, "You need blush." Adrienne
Uh-huh.
Bridget, she like loves blush,
Yeah.
and she's always like, "Oh, you have to buy this blush." She'll like randomly text me, and I'm like, "I'm not really
She's
into
also a
blush."
tan blonde, though.
That's not fair.
Yeah,
We can't
So it's like
replicate
not,
that.
it's really not fair because your blush is going to be completely different from her blush.
that's so true.
100%.
But I have embraced blushes that work for redheads because it does make a difference with, I've learned like with TikTok when things go viral, like where to place the blush. I was always placing it different. I was placing it like too close to here where you're supposed to put it closer, up here. Yeah,
I've learned a
yeah.
lot from my fellow redhead TikTokers. Anytime there's like one Madeline, anytime I'm like, I need to know what to do, I'll go to her page and I'll see like what product
Hmm.
she's using, and I'm like, okay, we're in the right vein. This is what we stick with. So
Yeah, yeah.
I'm influenced as well.
Yes. And then
Same.
how about color? We see that you are wearing green. You look great in green, by the way. Is that one of your favorite colors? Do you
Yeah,
explore with
yeah. It's
colors?
like greens, blues, lilacs. I want to be
I
a light
love lilac.
so bad, but my skin tone is so pink in nature that it doesn't work on me. But yeah, like the jewel tones, I'm realizing I'm really, really like navy blues. So yeah, I definitely keep to my color scheme. I'm trying to branch out like earth tones too, like dark greens, browns. I really love like browns. I like wearing browns a lot.
I
Yeah.
do too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I like brown too. I know redheads can really wear so many different colors, all
Oh yeah,
colors.
and
It's
I
just, I
love
think,
Yeah, I don't like the myths of like you can't wear pink, you can't wear
yeah,
red. Like Stephanie and I have been wearing those colors since we were little
yeah.
girls, and I'm so happy we have because I'm like I don't like to be put into a box that because we're redheads, even though Ansley are both wearing green, everyone's like redheads look great in green. You should
yeah.
always wear
That's not
green.
the point.
But I no, you can wear anything.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
I
just
love wearing
it's just
like
an identity thing.
it is, and I feel really powerful when I wear like bright red. I'm like, bring it. Like, what's
Yeah.
up?
How about lipstick? Bright.
Yeah, I first of all, I don't know if this is gonna go in, but I love the three new lip shades, the Finally Bolds.
Yes,
I'm
finally
wearing
bold. I know you're part of our campaign. I was telling Steph, I'm so
Yeah.
I
excited.
knew. I was excited when I got it. I've been wearing the nude, the perfectly nude shade like
Mhm.
every single day. I'm wearing it right now. And when I
It's such like an everyday
it's
staple.
so perfect because I feel like have a double lip line, so I got to find something that looks natural. But with the red, like I used to rock a red lip all the time in high school because I loved it, and I still
In
do
high
love
school,
it.
I love that you did in high school. I did not in high school. I was like
Oh,
putting concealer on my lips to like cover them up. I know,
Can you
Adrian.
believe that? I know.
oh my God, no,
It was like
never.
in though.
That
We're
was
before
in.
your time. That
Oh,
was
Yeah.
I
like
know
in.
exactly what time period you're talking about. Yeah.
That was in
That was like
to cover up
again though,
your lips.
a tan person thing to do.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And we just still did it.
Time to
Yeah, we were
replicate it
around a
with
lot of tan
chocolate.
people. So we went
Yeah.
to school with like no redheads and we had no idea what to do. But yeah,
Yeah.
I would carry around this little, I'll never forget, it was Bare Essentials. Have you ever heard of that brand? I don't
Oh
know
my
if they're
God. Yes, I've heard
so
of
I
Bears.
had it was a little concealer thing that like opened up, it like swiveled out, I remember. And I got it down to, I mean, I would carry it everywhere. We had a little pocket in our school uniforms and I would just put it on like throughout the day. It was horrible.
Yeah,
Horrible.
that sounds like a time. That sounds certainly like a time. Yeah, I like all my features distinguished now. So I
Yeah.
definitely yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Yes,
You have
same.
to there's a period where you have to grow into that, and
Yeah.
Oh,
that makes me that makes me wonder too, like how did you have you always been confident? Like where did you get
Mm.
the confidence from? Because I feel like you're very, very confident. I know we talked about just being an actor. I feel like you have to be confident, but you know, just to rock a red lip in high school, I could have never done that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it wasn't confidence. I think it was just like I don't know how to really explain it. I don't think I was the prettiest thing growing up. I definitely didn't have any physical confidence in myself. All I knew was that if I was growing up like quote unquote unattractive, I was going to have to grow up funny. Because that would be my thing. That would be how I get kids to like me. And like that would be how I stay in. And so once I got into high school and I started to kind of like people would call me pretty, and I would always be like I just like, are you making fun of me? Like, I don't really know.
Hmm.
But like I knew that I was solid here. And like that's what I would be told by everyone else is like your top 10 personalities. And I was like, great. And then it was actually during COVID that I started looking at myself in the mirror and like trying things differently. And I was like, oh, hold on a second. I think I get it. Like, I think I get why people tell me I'm pretty. And then from there, I was like, oh my God, I feel beautiful. But the confidence really started like with who I was as a person and how I presented myself. And the confidence wasn't always the best thing for me. Like, I'm loud when I walk into rooms, I'm abrasive. I don't always understand the weight of my words or the power that they hold. And so I've had to find a way to harness that in a beneficial way.
Mm.
But growing up, I was just
Mm.
loud and big, and that's just who I am. And so the confidence kind of came as an offshoot of having zero social awareness or zero self control. But I definitely feel a lot more in my body in tuned and like aware now and like proud of who I am and the person that I've fought really hard to become. So yeah, the confidence started internally and then translated externally later. Much.
We've been asking the question amongst us, like, would you go back to like an age, like, you know what I mean? Stephanie and I are in our mid 30s, so like, would we go back to our early 20s? Would we go back to our teens?
Mm.
Like, would you, Ansley? Would you go back to being in high school? Would you go back to that person, or are you happy with who you are now?
I I like if I could go back and tell that girl to sit down and shut up for 5 minutes, I would. But it's like a double-edged sword because at the same time I'm like, but it got me to who I am today. So
Yeah. Yeah, and it's who you are as your personality. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you don't wanna hide that,
yeah.
and yeah,
No,
if
and
you're the loudest in the room, that's who you are,
yeah, and,
right?
like, I've been starting to realize, like, because I always try to, like, I'm so anxious, I have the worst anxiety, and I will just go into my head about, like, how is this person perceiving me? Like, how is this going right now? Blah, 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 and it's like, "Okay, you made it this far, you have
Mm.
people who like you, consistently you have friends, so you don't need to worry about people's secret like, you're fooling people into liking you, that's not a thing that's happening." And recently, especially with the TikToks, because I'm like, I was looking at my page yesterday. I was like, holy crap. Like, I actually like the content I'm putting out right now. Like, it's fun. It feels
Mhm.
genuine and
It's so
sincere.
fun.
And so, and then after that, I was like, telling myself, like, if this is just who I am, then why do I worry? Why do I spend so much time hating it? Like, can't I just be? Can I please just be? And so I'm trying to really focus on literally just allowing myself to exist. And like, I'm a human. Like, I'm never going to feel good about
Mm.
all my actions all the time. But like, I'm not 20, I'm not 21 anymore. Like, I'm 25 and like I am the person that I'm meant to be right now, and we're going to have to keep rocking with that and hope it works out. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I need to work on that too. I need to work on being, because Stephanie and I are so goal focused. And so we're
yes.
always like striving for the new goal, for like the new product release, for this and this. And then sometimes I swear, like, look, it's already like the middle of the year. And I'm like, I don't think that I spent enough time this year already just being, just like enjoying
Yeah.
the now, you
Yes.
know, enjoying the moment, enjoying whatever day this is. Like it's just so important and it's so underrated because your life will fly by like
So
that
quick.
if you don't just take the time
Yeah.
to appreciate where you are in that time, in
Yeah.
that moment.
And I don't know if you two also like struggle with imposter syndrome to a sense, but it's like I'm having all these things in my life happen that should be like huge career checkpoints. And for some reason, all I can think about is, okay, well, what's next? And it's like,
Yeah.
girl,
Oh
Yeah.
gosh. I
Yes.
am just so guilty of that.
Yeah.
I am Steph, I think you take it a little bit better than I do. I feel like you know, I'm
Yeah.
always so hard on myself.
Yeah. But
To a default. I don't and I think too like I really had to take time during Shark Tank when we aired to enjoy that because it was such a natural feeling for me. Steph, I think we both dealt with this to be like, okay, like what's next? We have to make sure that this is done and this is done because we're so type A.
mhm.
And then I think there was like one particular weekend where I told Steph, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take some time this weekend for like the first time in months to just be like, wow, we just aired. And like,
Let it
I can,
soak in.
I can,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah,
Rather
like
than
I
like,
can give myself that.
yeah.
But then the minute that I have the downtime, I'm like, should I be working? Should I
Oh,
be
yeah.
working?
Now, yeah, it's so different
Should I be
now.
Yeah.
doing
It's
something
like the
because this is
mind
like
can't
not
stop.
productive right
It
now?
can't.
Yeah. Right.
Especially
Yeah.
with like social media right now, I feel like I'm approaching it much more
Ugh.
strategically than I ever have before. And so I'm like waking up,
Yeah.
okay, I'm not scheduled today. Like, what video can I make? And it's like, girl, like,
Is that
lay
stressful with the
down.
content? I know. Is it stressful with the content or do you plan out far in advance?
No, I don't plan anything out. I kind of wake up and let it all flow through me like I'm being
That's
possessed by
well,
a
that's the artist that
I
you
think
are.
that's
Yeah, I
good.
think that's
I think
great.
that's great.
Yeah.
Thank
And I
you.
think
That's
that's why
freedom.
when you look at your page, you can see how authentic you are with
Thank
your
you.
content.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's true. It's
it
like
feels much better now.
yeah, yeah. And then well, we have to ask too, what do you have going on next? There's so many things that are happening in your life. So what's happening in the next 6 months to a year
Oh,
plus?
that is a great question. I have no idea. I shot a commercial and that will hopefully be on the like Disney
Cool.
Lego YouTube channel in September.
Ooh.
Other than that though, it's just auditions and pushing through and hoping that things work out. But I don't have any upcoming projects right now. If anyone's watching this and they want to cast me, I am free. I am free and I memorize lines very well. But yeah, no, I don't have anything crazy exciting. I'm just taking it day by day and going home to Reno to see my family in a few days. That's pretty much the only exciting thing I've got going on.
That's great.
Oh,
Oh my
that's really, really great. I just want to tell you too, internally, when we go to our warehouse space, that's where our offices are. The girls who run a lot of our social media for us, they're like our A team. We love them.
mhm.
They love you. And you know, they're like part of their job is like to be on TikTok, be on Instagram, know what kind of content we should be coming out with. And they are like, we love Ansley. Like
Mhm.
she just gives us so much joy throughout the day. And
They chat you up. They
they
have
love
yes,
you. They
all
love
the way
you.
from the
They
East
love you.
Coast.
Wait,
And so
by,
when
by like
we
the
were
content
picking
I make for
guests,
you guys, like the
No,
promotion.
just
no,
your
just like
content, your page.
just your page.
Yeah, they love
So
you.
when we have any influencer campaign, they're like Ansley. And then when we wanted to do the podcast
They
for
were
the
like,
season, we were
and
putting together all our guests.
yeah.
They were like Ansley.
Oh well, my
And
It's
of
like
course,
A
we
team.
wanted,
Love you.
and of course, we wanted to talk to you, but we were joking. We were like, you guys have like a love thing. I mean, it was just they like love you. Yeah, you
Because
really.
no, because you're so funny
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you're relatable and real and we agree. We
Mm-hmm.
agree. We're like we can't wait to talk to her and we really feel like you have such a bright future ahead of you
Oh,
and just keep going and being confident and being the person you are.
thank you. I actually kind of really needed to hear those words, so that means a lot to me. I'm gonna think about those and keep a warm kernel in my chest the rest of the day. I can feel that
I'm
already.
just gonna think about your accent too. I'm so I'm a little jealous. I wish that I could get into character like that. I could have
Just
never been an actor. So,
I don't
but
know about that. Everyone says they can't, but then you get someone in an acting class and they're like, "What are these pieces of me I didn't know existed?" I'm like, "Yes, give in, give in." So
yeah, maybe I need to take an acting class. I
yeah,
did know a friend of a friend just randomly, they live in New York City, just all of a sudden was like signed up for an improv class.
yeah,
And when I heard that, I was like,
Oh,
wow,
love
that is
that.
so cool. Like they're totally introverted,
hmm
totally like not funny. And they were, I mean, not like you would never think. I think that they have a dry sense of humor that they didn't know. So it's funny that you say that. They
Yeah.
actually got really high up. It's Melody's sister, Adrienne. And it's
Oh, okay.
funny how she really loved it. Like, loved and actually became really good at it.
Yeah.
Wow,
acting
props.
classes, improv classes, like I have processed a lot of the things I didn't know I was holding in through my acting classes because my coach is like, use it. And I'm like, what does that mean? And then he teaches you how to genuinely, so I can like cry now. I can
You can
and
cry on the spot.
it's like I have to
Or
think
not on
about
the
it. Like
spot.
within it,
Okay.
well, I can get my eyes to water like probably right now, but I'm panicked about it. But like if I'm in a scene, like all I have to do is think about my boyfriend on his deathbed, and suddenly I'm like, oh my god, and it's like it's the way that he translates it into your Braden Lynch Studios. If anyone's in LA and you need a good acting coach, Braden Lynch. But he's just changed me as an actor and a human, and I am very grounded in like my emotions. I never cried. I thought crying was weakness. I thought like having bad thoughts was weakness. And now I'm like, oh, that video made me cry. Like just, oh, I love that. Like a dog video or like homecoming, like anything could make me cry. I cried
Dog videos.
Yeah.
Forget
I
it.
cried at a
Forget
Browns
it.
game because there's all these people in like gear and they're all supporting each other. And I'm like,
no.
So yeah, take an acting class.
Yeah, I think I
Wow.
should.
Yeah, and it's never too late. It's never too late.
No.
I swear.
Mm-mm.
You know, I swear there's some
Jessica
people
Chastain had a speech a couple years ago where I don't know the exact context. I mean, I don't know the exact words, but the context was that she really didn't get found until she was in her 30s. I don't know the exact age,
Really?
but yeah, like her first, I don't know how old she was
That makes sense.
during
That
the
makes
help.
sense. I think she was in her late 20s.
Oh my God, that makes
The
so much
help.
sense. I don't know why I thought she was one of the ones that like started as a youth and like that. Hey, that makes me feel really
No.
good. That makes me feel like I got to.
Yeah, I think
she was
in her late
31 in her first movie in 2008, and then it didn't arrive in theaters until 2010, and then The Help was the following year. So she was 33 with The Help, it
Oh
sounds
my
like,
God.
so she got an award, I think at the SAG Awards was it 2 years
Yeah,
ago maybe?
yeah, it was,
And she was like, all you drama, like every actresses, keep pushing, because I love stories like that. There's so many famous.
Like, what if she gave up when she turned 28? Like, you know what I mean? What if she was just like, up 28, throwing it in the,
It's like
throwing in the
you
towel?
always hear those stories like I was about to give up. And so like Heath Ledger,
Yeah.
that happened, like a lot of very successful
Yes.
And so I think staying delusional and also reminding myself that like if I give up now, like I'm going to be disappointing not only like everyone that has been like hoping for this, but
And
also
yourself.
like 16-year-old Ansley who was like
Yeah.
delusional and said like I'm going to do this. Like you can't.
Yeah.
But also like 95-year-old Ansley
Oh
is
my
going to
God.
regret it.
Yeah, if I give up something like this, like when I've been working my butt off for like years to like
Yeah.
and they like to say it's like you have to know somebody, and I'm like I don't fully believe that though. Like I don't fully believe you have to know somebody. Like I fully believe in my ability to win over a room if it's an audition. Like, I know myself. If I walk in and I leave and they're giggling, that's all I need.
Yeah. And
So,
that takes guts too. I always think when we're talking about auditions, it goes in through my head like, wow, I'd be so nervous. Like, I'm sure, are they like sitting down in front of like at a table and so serious?
So a lot of the times right now it's like self-tapes. So you'll like submit, and then if you make it through the submission, either you'll have a Zoom callback or they're bringing back in-person callbacks. But I book when I'm in the room. Like if I get in that room and I can see everyone sitting there, like it takes the nerves away. I know who I'm looking at. I know who I'm performing to. And one of my teachers in college said, like, if you don't like auditions, get out of this career. And I was like, pardon me, Dave, like I hate auditions. He's like, but for that minute, 30 seconds, like you get to go up there and give your heart. You get to perform for a minute and 30 seconds. And if you don't want to do that, you're in the wrong boat. And I said, that man is right. And since then, like I love auditions. I love getting up there and being like, here's what I bring to the table. And if it's not for you, keep me noted for next time, please.
Yeah. Then you're just made. This is your calling. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's
I love
amazing.
this life. So hopefully it keeps on keeping on and I can keep this apartment. Bills are high, but I am brave. So
that's awesome. And keep the content coming. We internally obviously love it so much. So Thank you so much for joining us. We loved talking to you.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. I look forward to any and all product releases and seeing and promoting.
Yay.
Yay.
Thank you so
Us too.
much.